Welcome back to Nailed It. Happy New Year to us. Well. Back for a new year. Happy 2024, guys. We're into the second year of the podcast running. Can I say that even though I only did 6 episodes last year? I've said it anyway. How are we? Happy 2024, guys. I hope everyone's well. Thanks for tuning in. If you are returning from 2023, thank you very much. Or if you're a new listener, hope this tickles the old ears. Welcome back. Well, I've had a bloody mental Christmas, in the words of my beloved. It's been epic. Box office. However, I'm also now skint and ginormous, and I need another break to recover from said break. What an amazing time. We've got our home looking like a home now. The last couple of months we've been doing jobs basically every single night, but we literally finished it on Christmas Eve. We had a new bed come, put some pictures of us up and all sorts of bits just to put our own touch on it. So that's been really nice. We hosted on Christmas Day. My dinner was a success, if I do say so myself. I finessed the cooking. Did go a bit overboard. We had 3 starters. Don't ask me why. Just got a wee bit giddy. Got a bit ahead of ourselves on the old TikTok. Which, by the way, I am toying with the idea of deleting. Unsure. We'll circle back to that one. We'll come back. I did also, just in general, get a bit carried away on Christmas Day. I will put a photo in this week's photo dump. It's not pretty. It's not a proud moment. But yeah. Your gal had her head down the toilet from 11 p.m. on Christmas Day till 7 p.m. on Boxing Day. Can you be arsed with that? That is not me as well. I am so good at hacking it. I can go for hours on alcohol. God no. But I just got a bit carried away. I think the whole day got a bit much. I've cooked the last 4 years, but I've done it at my mum's. She's got a nice big, open plan space with lots of room for air to pass round. Not this year. We did it in our kitchen, which is a smaller kitchen. It's a kitchen for 2, maybe 2 and a golden retriever. But yeah, it was a very tight, compact, and obviously shut the doors, keep the smells in, all that. There was literally condensation running down my face. Your gal was hot and bothered. I was on Prosecco from early on in the morning, which is not my drink for various reasons. I had a tension headache. I thought, it's all going to go Pete Tong this. And it did. But it was all in the name of a good time and the birth of baby Jesus. So who am I to argue? It happened. Like I said, normally solid as a rock, but I felt like I'd been hit by a train. It was not good. The fella was extremely smug because this is him every weekend. And yeah, it was my turn to ruin Christmas this year, so hey ho. Anyway, starting on the hottest topic of them all. Never mind my podcast. EastEnders! Well, if you don't like EastEnders, skip on. It's probably only going to be a 20-second review. But oh, I were happy on Christmas Day. Keanu, am I surprised? Yeah, slightly. Am I disappointed Mick didn't come back? / Danny Dyer? Very, extremely. I think the episode had its pros and cons. I think parts of it could have been better. I.e., if me and the girls had a lock-in in a pub and, someone's deranged, child-snatching ex rocked up and started strangling her to death. With all the goodwill in the world, wild horses wouldn't stop me jumping on the bastard and knocking him out rather than, panicking and stabbing him with some turkey tongs. But that being said, it has still ruled my Christmas, along with the darts. Jesus Christ, has anyone else been forced to sit through the 32-year-old lad posing as a 16-year-old? I mean, he's mustard, by the way, but he is not 16. 16? Not a chance. There's honestly, I don't know about anyone else listening, and I'm tailoring this one to the ladies. There's not been a time in my life that I'm not being made to watch sports. It's not even seasonal at this point. Footy runs back end of August right through to May. There's something on all the time. There's no international break in my house. I guarantee, if all else fails, we'll be watching shot put next. Guaranteed. Then, New Year's Eve, probably one of my favourite ones today. We went from having one of our couple friends round for casual drinks, which then grew and ended up being about 14 of us, which in our living room was like an 11-a-side footy match. But it was just sensational vibes from start to finish. Minus someone lobbing a bev on my couch. You know who you are, love. But it's the time of forgiveness, the season of goodwill and so on. But what a night it was. Box office. Legendary. Loved it. Anyway, it's been one to remember. We've gone from setting out to be relaxed to doing something every day. And I absolutely wouldn't change it for toffee. We've had a ball. And I'm now ready to go now for the year 2024. We're having it. I've seen loads of posts as well about 2024 having 2016 energy about it. And I can't remember or tell if it's something that we say every year just with like, you know, hope. Or if it's true, but if it is, I'm low-key here for it. And then I thought about it and remembered where I was in 2016. And for me, I'd rather every year have 2018 energy, you know. I had a hot girl summer, met the love of my life, shall we say. Yes. Like, it was just good vibes. England. It was the England World Cup summer that everyone remembers, you know what I mean? Chef's kiss. But yeah. I think it's going to be a good one. Like I've said before, it's not going to be 100% good or 100% bad. We shall ebb and flow through it. But I'm looking forward to it. To get myself in the mood, we might have booked a cheeky holiday last night. We might have booked our Italian road trip, which I'm very excited for. Main reason, checked the price of our flight, 34 squidders. I was like, boom. Take my money. So I've got that to look forward to. And I just think, yeah, it's going to be nice vibes all year round. So in the spirit of the new year and the whole, you know, new year, new me type of vibe that everyone tends to go for. Not me. I'm on new year. Same old M. Naylor. Same old shit. But I wanted to talk all about the new year and what my goals are, what your goals are or may not be. You know, I asked for your ins and outs, what we're doing, what we're trying to stop doing. Because I love it. I love setting goals. I just do. And I do enjoy that as a society, we're becoming more accustomed to not force ourselves to change our lives on the 1st of January, myself included. You know, you don't punish yourself if on the 1st of January you've not ran a marathon, ate some lettuce, detox your cupboard. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not doing that. But I do think it is nice to have goals and ways to achieve them laid out. I was actually going round on New Year's Eve myself, asking everyone, you know, what are you leaving in 2023? Come on, pow, pow. Like, I thought I was in an Oprah energy, clearly. And we got some stellar answers. We're leaving these bitches. Obviously, no one at the party. People said they were leaving the job. People were leaving feeling anxious in a social setting. And then everyone was like, what are you leaving in 2023? And I was like, I had nothing to say, which, as we know, is uncommon. And it dawned on me that, especially towards the back end of the year, I've had a corker, you know, last year. And especially when it comes to, like, friends and family, how I've conducted myself and sort of the changes I've seen in myself, which I'm really proud of. You know, you may find this hard to believe, but I was a hothead. Super bad. I was a nutter. And I feel like, obviously, it's a natural part of growing up, but I know some 40-year-olds who are still unhinged and beyond. But I just feel like I'm proud of, like, the woman I am at the end of the year, shall we say. Cringe, but it's true. Let's cringe together. But yeah, I've found a different maturity coming through. You know, I must be the old 25-year-old frontal lobe. But I actually couldn't think of anything, you know, like on the spot, something specific that I wanted to leave and not return to. I think upon reflection, probably when I'm going to do a whole episode on when I went to Australia. I went to Australia. I look after Australia for work. I think I've said it in one of my earlier episodes. And I've been lucky, like a hella lucky, that I've been able to go twice. I've been to Australia and to New Zealand, and it was like it was a phenomenal experience for so many reasons. For my personal development, obviously from a tourist point of view, it was great. Have you ever had good weather when I've gone over there? No, it's been shite. However, one day that will change. That's one of them as well. Every time I go and it's bad weather, I'm like, it's an omen. I'm not meant to live here. But I will do a whole episode on that. But I noticed when I was over there, I was there for like 5 weeks this time. And that is a long time to be away from home. You know, it's not like you're in France or Spain or even traveling. You're on the other side of the world in a 13-hour different time zone all alone. And it's humbling. It's a humbling out experience, to say the least, spending that much time with yourself, especially when you're used to spending so much time with other people, whether it's your friends, your family, your partner, do you know what I mean? Your dogs. I'm all of the above. So to go from that to like the hard stop of me, myself, and I, in the words of Queen Bee, and my laptop and my phone, was very, very strange. And it had its pros and cons. But the long-winded way I'm getting around to saying is, it made me quite anxious. And I've never been the type of person that's described myself as anxious, because I think I portray all the traits that are the opposite of anxious. But I think as well, that time on my own made me realise how much anxiety I've had over other situations, not just being alone and, having to get on flights on my own and make sure I don't lose my passport, but like, anxieties within my relationships with people, within like my confidence. Like I found my confidence getting knocked with work at times. That only has to happen a couple of times before you sit there questioning yourself, thinking like, God, I'm shit, even if you're not. So yeah, I suppose upon reflection, what I'm leaving in 2023 is hopefully neglecting my anxiety, I will say. I feel like everyone's got it a little bit in some areas, whether they have discovered it and, dealt with it, or have found ways to cope with it, or whether they put it in a box and lock it away. But yeah, I'm going to not neglect it and stop acting like I don't sometimes get anxious. So yeah, that's what I'm leaving in 2023. Anyway, lighter note. We also played a game of top 5 moments of the year, which again was a gorgeous time of reflection. And that's something we're going to talk about today as well, because I think it's really important. Mine included moving in with my partner, visiting new countries, and the holidays I've enjoyed, especially with the girls. I've done both my first girl group holidays. I've been away before with like an individual friend and it's been stellar. But I've never done more than one. So obviously the more people generally you've got more opinions to factor in. And I'm not being funny, like a girl's holiday is often subject to a bit of drama. But it just made me so grateful for the friends that I have and like the choices I've made in these people, because at the end of the day, no one killed each other and we're all still BFFs. So success. But yeah, one of my best friends is pregnant and due literally within the next 6 weeks. That's a massive highlight for me. I watched another friend win one of the most fucking prestigious shows in British TV. I've been watching so many of the people around me, even myself, get promotions, pay rises, new jobs. And then, it's so nice to see. When I want to step back and look at the situation, the gratitude is at an all-time high for sure. So what's our plan this year, boys and girls? What are we doing? Well, what I'm going to do today, I'm going to read you through a couple of my own goals and intentions I've set out, and I'm going to try and explain sort of how I do this. I've done it for a few years now. I'm slightly changing my tactic this year. And yeah, I'm going to talk to you all about that. I've had so much feedback, which is just making me so excited all the time. Sorry, I'm saying this in every episode. I know I'm a broken record, but I'm loving it. So I got tons of feedback off you guys, again, more than I've had in any other episode. And that's me doing a drum roll without the noise. I got my first email off a real person, not someone asking to promote me who's a fake account. I got an email of a real person. No, it is about a topic that I covered last week, but I am going to go through it at the end, just because it would be rude not to. So now, I did see a great video of by Miss Grace Beverley herself last week on how she sets her goals for the year, and she splits it into 6. Now, if you know Grace Beverley, she's the founder? Is that the same thing? She owns Tala, the clothing company, but she also has her own podcast. She's wrote books. Top egg. Love her. Look up to her, She's in the hierarchy of Molly May for me, so we love her. I'm going to be talking to you all about her method, and I think that's the way I'm changing mine up slightly this year. I kind of already did what I'm going to explain to you that she does, but in a bit of a unstructured way. So I've just put a bit more substance to it. What I'll do, I will post a link to the TikTok of Grace's video so you can watch it yourself, because her version of explaining it is obviously going to be better than this. But essentially, she breaks it down into 5 different sections. First one being, which is probably my favourite, like I said before, she looks back and reflects on what she did achieve. She discovered what motivates her and what she wished she had more time to do. And she kind of uses that to then map out the rest of the things. We get into the vision board then, which is again split into 3 of how I want to be, how I want to live, and the actions of getting there. You know, rather than just filling a screen with nice looking quotes and Tumblr aesthetic vibes, it's best to get on something, you know, more relatable and more aligned with your goals. So I don't sit making like canvases and scrapbooks for my vision board, which look amazing. And if I had the time to do it, probs would. I just get relevant quotes and things like that, and I make it either on like my phone and put it as my lock screen. I'll show you mine later on. Or I'll put it as my laptop screensaver. So I'll just put it in a place where I'm constantly looking all day. And yeah, I have found benefits to that in the past. We'll talk about that a little bit more in another episode. Then she gets on to setting the goals. Now this time she splits that into 6, and that goes finance, relationships, personal development, career and business, or in my case, career and podcast, attitude and mindset, and health and fitness. And then that's followed by habit tracking, and then setting realistic monthly and weekly goals to get you to achieve your said goals. So we're going to be looking at that method, and I'm also going to be realistic on it as always. You know, I would have loved nothing more on the 2nd of Jan to crack out of bed, put my shoes on and run for a marathon, followed by getting a bid for Worlds, be the best friend, be the best family member, sister, daughter, auntie. Hit every work KPI, have a fat ass, flat stomach, surplus of money in the bank. Who doesn't want that? However, I'm also not a nonce. I'm realistic. I'm very aware of my body and my own limits and ceilings as to what I can and can't do in my 24 hours of the day. So, let's take that notion. I will give you a wee little insight into what I want out of the year, my own self-expectations, and hopefully it'll help you to set yours, or even to be kinder to yourself when thinking about the whole new year, new me concept, aka bullshit. Okay, so now, this one I did love. This was part 1 of her method, and essentially the reflection section, which I think everyone is quite quick to disregard when heading into a new year, especially if it's not been, you know, the year of your dreams. People are quite like, you know, forget it, let's just get into the new one, everything changes then. And it doesn't. The clock ticks over, you're into a new year, it's the 1st of Jan, you're still the same person, you're waking up in the same bed, well, hey, sometimes, you know, you're the same you. Nothing is changing overnight. This isn't the fucking Mask with Jim Carrey. You're not falling off a bridge and waking up a new person. Like, you know, it's just normal life. So I wrote it down. I reflected in my diary. Yeah, break it down into what you did achieve. I think I posted mine in this week's photo dump. But I also just had like half an hour to myself. Do it. Flick through your camera roll or your Snapchat memories, your last year's diary or calendar. Take yourself down memory lane, and I guarantee at some point you'll be smiling and you'll be feeling grateful for all the things you did do. Everyone remembers the bad and what they didn't do, but people don't point out the good stuff and what they did do. So I wrote some of mine down, and it made me really happy. Like I said, I already posted them in the reel, but like one of them, for example, was I deleted Klarna and I didn't get it back. I had a really bad relationship with Klarna and buy now, pay later. I had such a bad shopping and spending addiction. And again, that is going to be another episode on why TikTok nearly bankrupted me. Real time. So yeah, and I made it my mission that I was not going to do that, and I was going to buy things that I needed or really wanted and had justified reason to want and buy them. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm so glad that I stuck by it. And now I would literally rather go blind than re-download it. What else did I do? I spent more time with friends. Jesus wept. I couldn't have spent any more time with my friends if I pigging tried. I've been in like a 15-way relationship all year. It's been phenomenal. So, you know, things like that, when you actually start going back and you're like, oh, goddamn, I did a lot. And, you know, I just think it's lovely. Like I said, I think it's great, you know, especially if you, like I say, get to the end of the year and you feel like you achieved nothing and you're in that mindset because you didn't save 25 grand in 6 months or you missed a couple of PT classes, you know. This section's all about what we did do. One thing I am going to do, 100% this year, I saw this video, I think Jay Shetty's posted it, and I've seen it on TikTok a few times as well. But basically, grab a jar, any jar. I've got this, I love this, I've got a shelf of props here that none of you can see, but they're all relevant to the cause. I've got this one. This is an old jar that I used to keep like old currency in from holidays, like friggin' till at the post office. But basically, at the end of every week or beginning of a new week, it's like your Sunday reset or your Monday, whatever it is, write down something good that happened that week and put it in the jar. So this Sunday or next Monday, I'll write down something good that happened this week in the first week of the year. Bang it in the jar, and then when we get to this time next year and you're doing your reflecting, look back and crack open the jar and see what were good. I know for a fact there are things not in my camera roll or not at the forefront of my memory or on my list that I ticked off that, you know, that happened to me in a positive way last year. So I think it'll be a really, really nice way to recap. Next up, motivations. List your top 5 out. Whatever's making you smile in the above when you've been reflecting, you know, making you feel good or like a better person, or it's taking you back to a time you were really happy in the previous year. There's your motivation right there. You like looking good? Fitness and health potentially might be up there. You like having money in the bank? Grafting and not frivolously spending. You get the gist. So again, I noted mine down. And then finally, what do you wish you had more time to do? This will help with you setting your goals. So again, anything you saw where it was at a high point and you want more of it. A couple of mine are seeing all my friends equally, which I know I've just said I saw them a lot, but I definitely saw some more than others. And I'm not here to split hers, do you know what I mean? Like, I have got friends who live closer to me than others, and I'm not punishing myself for that. But I would just like to get around the rounds a little bit better, do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's definitely one of mine, along with spending more time with my family, especially my niece. She's in such core years of her life, and I'm definitely going to be all a part of that. Okay, next we have the vision board. Again, this is split into 3 to keep it aligned, of course. So vision boards are basically a cluster of pics, often made to look pretty and aesthetic. But for me, the most important part of the vision board is that it's relative to your goals. There's no point me having a vision board full of clouds and, you know, fluffy colours and pictures of babies if I don't intend on having one until I'm in my 30s, or else I might have a nasty surprise in a few months, and we don't want that. So I split it into 3, so the how I want to be. So for me, I'm going to get mine up. I will show it to you. I've put on health-related images, career aspirations, you know, being well-travelled, full of love, so on. So I've put the countries I'm intending to visit. I've put on there that I want to do a 5K, because I do. I want to be able to run without unaliving myself, guys. So yeah, I'm a fit girl, and I'm a strong girly, and I'm a dance girly. Am I a cardiovascular girly? No. So that is on this year's agenda. Facts. Next, I've put how I want to live. I struggle with this one a bit, but, you know, I don't want to be burned out and, you know, cosy, comfortable, healthy in my target. So that's like what some of my quotes relate to. And then finally, my actions, you know, how are we going to achieve it? Gym, less screen time, better time management. So this is what I came up with. I will post, oh, there we go. Now you don't have to see the reflection of my ring light. I will post it in this week's photo dump so you can have a little look. But yeah, that is my little vision board. I've just did a bit of a Google, got some relative images, dumped them all on here. I've put it on my lock screen. I'll make one for my computer home screen. Then it's always there. I'm always looking at it. So this is going to sit on my lock screen for definitely the next, 2, 3, 4 months. And I will keep you updated. I'll talk to you a little bit more about visualizations in the Manifestation 101 episode. We have a 101 series coming in February, which I'm so gassed for. That's when we're getting the guests on, boys and girls. Oh yes. And my plan is to roll from there. So I've said it now, so it's got to happen. I'm nothing if not a woman of my word. Anyway, then we get into setting our goals. So split it into 6 as explained earlier, and then you map them out. In some areas, you might have more than others. So for example, my attitude and mindset block and my finances block are smaller than my others, which is a massive win for me, because in previous years, the vast majority of my goals have been centered around this, about, me getting out of debt, saving X amount of money, becoming more positive, being happier, stop being a bore, all them things. So it's really nice that now, it was only when I sat back and looked at the page and thought, oh my God, I've got like one thing in that box. I then realised, I was like, oh my God, the work you've put into yourself and the time you've invested into yourself in previous years is obviously showing now. So I was buzzing about that. So do not be disheartened if you've nothing to put in those areas yet, or if them areas are smaller than others, because, it may not be a bad thing. It gives you room to focus on what you want and what you need to achieve. My biggest area this year for me is personal development and my career, I would say, followed by health and fitness. It is hard, and it's not realistic to give 100% to everything all the time. And it's really not a consistent way of living without burning yourself out. That's literally what I've spent so long doing. But on the other hand, I feel like I've spent a long time solidifying those other areas of my life. So now it's giving me time to throw myself into these goals. And, I'll do my bloody best to ensure I don't slack in the other areas of my life. But, I feel like I've got that time now that I can give to myself in other places. So it's really nice. So all your goals are set. We are happy. We have got our list. How are we going to bloody do it? Well, I'll tell you. This brings me back to my diaries. 1, 2. And I've gone for blue. Blue is a great colour. I'm going to post the what blue means as a colour. You can see why I chose it as my podcast colour as well. Apart from the fact that I relate to blue. Blue is one of my favourite colours. I'm not a pink girly. It was one of the things, actually, this is so off topic, but when I was picking my podcast logo and I was designing it, obviously, I am a woman. Number one. And I didn't want to come across as someone who only appealed to women because, I'm a woman of the people. Man, woman, they, them, whatevs. But pink is not me. Every podcast logo, like every podcast I searched, even those that I know guys listen to, the logos were all pink. And we did a pink logo for me. And I was like, it's just not me. It is inauthentic. It weren't me. It isn't me. So I had to get rid of it. And I just made me realise I bloody love blue. So we're sticking with it. It's a bold colour. It's a bold choice. It's not for boys. It's not a Yorkie. Yorkies are blue. I see what they did there. Anyway, I am digressing. To the diaries, the planners. As I said in the 4-year-old adult, I love planning, but I can be a victim of planning too much. So this year we're on a strict ban. I have a weekly planner and I have a daily planner. There is no room in here for excess baggage. There is 52 pages, minus the front and back, for 52 weeks. And this one is just a page a day. I have to have a page a day mainly for work. But I used to have an A4 page a day. On top of that, I had a weekly planner, a paper calendar, a calendar hung on the wall. Too much. Didn't need it. Unnecessary. Overwhelming. Stop. Yeah. I obviously have like my phone calendar and my calendar, on Teams because, it's kind of part of my job. I can't get away from it. But that's all I'm having this year. And that's where we're going to track. Now, what I do like about these, definitely not an ad. We're certainly not there yet. It was literally a £5, but what it does, it splits it into, you've got weekly goals, a to-do list, you've got a section for each day, and you've got a habit tracker. And there's not too much room where you're just going to be writing bollocks, basically. So I just think it's really good. It makes me think about what I'm actually writing down and what's important for me to read and remember. I also got some coloured pens with it, to satisfy the inner child in me. But yeah, I like that. So I'll read you this week's to give you a bit of an example so you get the gist. So, the week of... In the beginning, sorry, this is like a story time. I feel like this is, on CBBS when it's like, sit down, get yourself comfortable, and I'm going to read you a bedtime story. I wish you would, Harry Styles. Anyway, I'm digressing, sorry. So, weekly goals. Start new gym plan. Tick! I've done that. I've joined a new dance class on a Thursday. It's like a improvers course. Just because I want to be 100% on my A game for my competition team. I want to be able to give it everything. Like I want to be polished. I don't want to come away from it thinking, if only I'd have done this. So if I want to get to a position where I'm leading the team and we're going straight to Worlds for a bid, I need to be on my A game. I can't be in the mid-tier. So I've done that. Starts on Thursday. No pointless spending. Tick. And then what I've done on the first week of each month, I've put my monthly goal. And all I've put down for myself this month is follow my new routine. That's it. Next to it, to-do list for the week. So record podcasts. Plan my work diary, obviously. Get all my appointments in. Take my tree down. We've done that. Clean the house. I've done the washing. I've not cleaned my car yet, but there's 4 days left in the week. You don't have to do, Rome wasn't built in a day. There's another one. And then your habit tracker. Now, my habit tracker, I intend on it looking the same every week because that's how you're going to form a habit. I can't remember what the timeline is on forming a habit that just becomes part of your daily routine. But anyway, and mine is simply exercise somehow. I don't care if that's a walk, the gym, a swim, a dance. Just move my body. Get out there. I feel better after I've exercised, so why wouldn't I do it? Whatever that looks like. Read. I have notification blockers and timers on my phone, right, that I choose to ignore. I've become a bit of a phone freak in the last couple of months, and I love reading. I have so many books. The girls bought me a Kindle for my birthday, so yeah, when my notification timer pops up at 9 p.m, my phone is going down, so don't at me, don't ring me, don't text me, unless it's an emergency, in which case, hotline bling, always your gal. But yeah, I'm going to just make sure that I read a book. Any book, ideally non-fiction. I don't need to read. I couldn't be asked doing something like 75 hard. I haven't got the time for that, I don't want to read a self-development book. Some nights I just want to get in bed and read a shitty rom-com about some girl whose star-crossed lover who broke her heart, moved back to a village and is hell-bent on getting her back, and Harry's going to do it. I want to read 2 chapters of that because it'll send me to sleep. Cosy worsy. So that's what I'm going to do. Drink my water, have some good scran, and get at least 8 hours of sleep because we all know that I don't sleep very well. And then on my days, I've taken my weekly goals and my to-do list and I've spread them out and then just put myself a few pointers for work on there. So that's it. That's literally it. And I highlight as I've done them. Just keeps me on track. And then in my page a day diary, which for me, as I said, it's essential due to my job. Often just so, if anything, I can go back, look at old appointments I've done and be like, oh, I could chase that up. I forgot I did this, blah, blah, blah. But I need the space. But also here is where I log my meals. So again, keeps me accountable. This week's example, I break it down into, I've got every day, there are 7 notes here, and it is where, as in where am I going to be because I'm constantly traveling, work, what work appointments do I have, whether it's online or in person, fitness, and any other plans, and breakfast, dinner and tea, so I know which meal prep I'm eating out the fridge. It's a lot, I know. So yeah, an example tomorrow. Where am I going to be? Manchester. What work appointment am I going to be doing? I've got one. You don't need to know. What fitness am I doing? My dance class. And I'm going to go for a walk in the morning. #step queen. And any other plans? Well, upload the poddy oddy and go to the post office and return a parcel. Easy. And my breakfast, dinner and tea are logged. If I get any orders tomorrow, I'll log them in a different colour. Just so, if I'm having a bit of a down day on the 27th of Jan, which I'm not speaking into existence, but I can look back and go, but remember on the 4th of January when you did 150k? Do you know what I mean? Thinking of future me. So that's just me, keeping on top of these, which is just a weekly and a daily diary. For me, it's second nature. I've done it for years. I appreciate some people will be very overwhelmed with something like that. In which case, again, as I always say, find what ticks your box. Find what works for you. It's not necessarily going to be the same as what works for me. Anyway, that's my wee little plan, guys. My ins and outs. I love these little lists that people are doing as well. I don't have too many, to be honest. I don't think. On my ins, it's basically just reaffirming the goals I've set. I want to bring in, consistent sleep, exercise, reading books, quality time, basically boosting my health and well-being, as well as spending more time with the ones I love and, so on. Good vibes, happiness, the usual suspects. In my outs, we might have a few outs. Excessive scrolling. Ignoring my time limits on apps, as we know. saying yes when I should say no. I say yes so much. Number one, because I hate letting people down. Number two, FOMO. But I need to set better boundaries for myself. I really do. That mainly revolves around my time management, which is literally one of my number one goals this year to try and nail. But again, you know, I want to spread myself all the way thin. However, I need to be realistic that if I want to have the success that I intend to have, it's going to be a wee bit tighter on their time. And, you know, preserving my own energy as well. There's no point me sitting here trying to record podcasts being, you know, knackered and not in the zone for it. Like, you know, that's really my focus. Same with work. I don't be sat there yawning at 10 o'clock every day. I can allow it, like, you know, a couple times a week. But, you know, I just want to put the work in so I get the benefits that I want. And then everyone's a winner. We're all going to the Maldives on me. But yeah, binge eating. Oh, right. Bit of a bold claim. Don't know why I wrote that one in my notes when I'm looking over. But I'm not horrendous. I'm not. But I have fallen off the wagon since moving house in particular. The last couple of months I've been very up and down. Some days I've ate like a slice of gluten-free toast. Other days I've ate like for free. So yeah, just not eating for the sake of it. I don't need a sweet treat every time I go to the kitchen to make a brew. Maybe just once or twice. Shopping apps. They've all been deleted already. Slay. Maybe stop saying slay for everything. It began as a joke. It's now a personality trait. Lol. This is the one I'm on the fence about. I went to hold the wardrobe door then and it was further away than I realised. Delete TikTok. The reason we've circled back is I feel like I like to think I'm a strong lady and I feel like I should be able to curb it on my own. And, you know, I don't want to cold turkey it. Like, I feel like I should have better discipline. However, and I don't know why I'm acting like TikTok is fucking heroin, but, you know, it's just a reason that I sit on my phone unnecessarily. But then again, I know that I'm going to miss the feeling of when I see a video, I'm like, oh, that reminds me of so-and-so, I'm going to send it to them. You know what I mean? And they send it to me, I'm like, this reminds me of you. And you're like, oh, serotonin. But yeah, it's the most ridiculous first world bullshit problem, but it is one I'm toying with. And then I'm like, where am I going to post my reels? Do I just have a podcast Instagram? Do I need to make my TikTok? You know, TikTok is up and coming. If I want to get bigger, I should be on TikTok. But then I'm like, I basically need better self-control and I need to get a fucking grip. That's the actual harsh reality of it. That's the harsh truth. And that's it, guys. That's how I am trying to channel my 2024. So we're now going to read all your writings and I'm going to give you a live reaction. So I put on my story, I want to hear your New Year's resolutions and what your ins and outs are for the year. And this is what I got. Can I just say again, thank you so much, everyone that got in touch. Love it. Here for it. So let's have a look, shall we? Here we go. Just be happier, not stress and worry over things that haven't happened. Retweet. The thing is, right, if it's already happened, you can't change the past. And if it's not happened yet, like, you're not a fortune teller. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. So, yeah, it's easier said than done. I worry for worrying's sake. But, yeah, it's nice to sometimes just let the world, you know, take its course of action and just be part of it. What's the next one? Reading more books, better organisation, and back to a gym routine. Very similar to myself, Queenie. Let's team up. Tell me what books you're reading. We'll get a bit of a list going. Next one. I'm saying no to things I don't want to do. Not to be rude, but time is precious. Another one like what I said. And it's very true. Time is literally more important than money. I can't put that any other way. Take it from someone who has lost everything that they loved. Yeah, it's your time is the most valuable thing. Spend it wisely. Be wise in who you spend it with. Just do stuff you want to do. That's all I can say. Next one, romanticising life every moment I can. Interesting one. I like it. I have my view on romanticising life. How can I put this? I'm a bit black and white. I know I am. Boring for most people. But it's just the way I see it. But do I like to find the positives in everything? Absolutely. So if that's romanticising life, me too, sister. New Year's resolution, focus on what makes me happy and my little boy happy. Fuck everything that doesn't. Absolutely. Mothers unite. If you've got a child, you've got to put them and yourself first. Less negativity in my life this year, please and thank you. Of course. My New Year's resolution is to start making moves to change up my career completely and leave in a toxic industry. I need to know what industry you work in. I need to know more. You know who you are. Drop me a line. I want to know. Keeping my personal happiness as a priority and keeping a strong, positive mindset. Love this. We're getting a lot of stuff like this, which is really, really nice. And I'm all here for it. And you know what? Sometimes being positive comes as second nature, and other times you've got to force it. On the days where you've got to force it, just let it be. Let it happen. But on the days where it's second nature, embrace it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself there. Next. Celebrate small wins to help maintain positivity and keep on track towards bigger goals. Tell me your bigger goals, girl. I want to know. But yeah, no, definitely. I think that's why it's good having these like smaller weekly goals that are getting you to your end goal where you want to be. Because I think it's just realistic and it keeps you in line. There's no point saying, oh, by the end of the year, I want to have saved $5,000 and then putting as your first weekly goal, I'm going to put £1,000 away. I mean, unless you're tilled. If you're strapped, I mean, go ahead, do you. More life, less bullshit. Yeah. Love that. Why not? Agree. Always. If it doesn't bring my mental health... What? Oh, if it doesn't bring me mental peace, there's the door, bitch. I feel like I need like a meme after everyone I read out. To stop getting stressed over shit I can't control. Yeah. Pack it in, you. But true. We all do it. Everyone's done it, but, let it go, let it be. To experience more things and get out of the comfort zone, as you should. Put yourself out there. What is the worst that can happen? If you try something new, the worst thing that can happen is you don't like it and you don't go again. And no one will care. No one really remembers you at the first class. Do it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for writing in, guys. I have lived for it. I did say that I was going to read out the email that I got. Honestly. So I got a DM saying, like, don't know if you got my message, like, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, because no one has emailed me yet. And for some reason, it's probably because my phone is on a raging do not disturb all the time. But I didn't see it. So when I opened it, honestly, it has finessed January for me. I was like, how gorgeous. The subject line is, recommend strong coffee before opening. Oh! Sophia and Cinzia, who? Anyway, so obviously everything on here is always anonymous. So you know who you are. I will never do that to you. But you go and listen. So, hey girl. Absolutely loving the podcast. It's so nice to see a familiar face on my screen instead of someone with an unrealistic lifestyle. I've seen your story about friendships, and to be honest, I've been at an all-time low lately about the friend situation. Not sure if this is the kind of questions, queries you wanted, but any advice can probably make me feel better. This is what I want, right? I don't know what it is. I'm just going to stop in my tracks right there, not to be rude. I would never do this to your face, obviously. Anyone listening, this is what I want. Write into me. Talk to me. Share your woes. I don't know what it is. I've read agony aunt columns in my mum's magazines for as long as I can remember. I don't know why I like giving advice. I think I just like people and I like talking. They're the two things we've affirmed over the years, if you've known me. I just love it. I love stuff like this. And I'm no oracle. Do you know what I mean? I'm only fucking 25, for Christ's sake. I don't know I'm acting like Gandalf, but I just love it. I love talking to people. And I don't have all the answers, You come to me and ask me how to change a nappy, I'll be like, girl, let's YouTube it. But, I just enjoy advice. I enjoy speaking to people. I enjoy different takes and perspectives. Like I said, even if I don't have the answers myself, I just like that side of things. So if anyone wants to get in touch about anything, even if they don't think it's relevant, it'll be relevant to me. And even if I don't read it out because you don't want me to, I'll come back to you. I'll email you, I'll DM you, whatever you prefer, whatever your preferred mode of communication is. So yeah. Anyway, we go back. Any advice can make me feel better. I work for myself, by myself, so I don't have that office workplace interaction. 9 out of 10 times I ask my customers what they've been up to at the weekend. Some nothing, but most have been out with their friends. So she's a self-employed girly, I'm guessing. Sorry, I'm doing that thing where like you get halfway through and people start interrupting. Soz. Some nothing, but most have been out with their friends. With me working long unsociable hours and staying in most weekends with my boyfriend, I've definitely found these close friendships I've once had are so distant now. I think with it being the Christmas season and seeing work dues, that's also making me feel like I'll never have one of those because I work alone. Right, okay. Yes. I love my job and my clients. I'm so grateful, but feeling sorry for myself for the things I can't have. When my clients say they've been out with their friends or plans coming up, it just makes me think that I don't have that. I'm in no way unhappy, but sometimes wish I had someone other than my boyfriend or mum to go for coffee with. Sorry for putting all this on you. Don't apologise, queen, to me. Don't feel like you need to input my response either. Well, it's inputted. Can't wait for Thursday. We all can't wait for Thursday because at 6 p.m, it's a bucket load of this girl. Anyway, I digress. First off, thank you so much for getting in touch. Number one, you've made my head feel the size of a fucking 3-bed detached. But I say this all the time, I think it's so vulnerable writing in stuff like this with the chance that it can get read out. I mean, with me, it's always going to get read out because, hello. But yeah, I think that's mad. And I think as well, reaching out, yeah, I just think it's a big thing. So rate that a lot. It is a tricky one because, like you say, I'm guessing from reading that you're self-employed. And obviously you must love your job. Like say you love your job, you love your clients, things like that, and you don't see that changing anytime soon. So yeah, I sometimes find like the days I work at home on my own and I'm, just in here, it's it can be isolating. Like, thank God for Microsoft Teams at times because you can just ring people and talk shit. It can be really isolating not being in that office environment. And don't get me wrong, I'll go into the office for more than one day and I'll be like, this is why I work at home. But yeah, it is nice to have that work-life balance. But then sometimes I wish I had a job a bit more like you, where you're speaking to, like-minded people potentially. I don't know. It depends what the clients of, what they got to do. I would need some more context. But yeah, it is a tricky one. And like you say, it has its pros and its cons either way. Get my phone back. So you found that your friendships have become distant. I mean, the only thing I would say there, if there are friendships worth having, then reach out. Like I said in my last episode, the best thing you can do as a friend, or how to be a good friend, when I was asked, I just said show up. Show up, show out. Again, that doesn't mean you have to be there for them every single day, every single minute, but, be reliable. And if it's not a friendship worth having, then, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe your life is going in a certain way because it's waiting for the right friendship to come along. You never know. You can't, if you've no room for friends, they can't come in. It won't allow it, won't facilitate. So it depends on the situation. But if you've got any good friends around you that you just feel like you've gone a bit distant with, I would highly recommend tapping them up. Touch base. Ask them to go for a brew, coffee, whatever your tipple is. Gin. I don't mind. I'll come. I'm not invited probably, but I'm always there. I'm always there for a good time. But yeah, that would be my suggestion. Like I said, I love my boyfriend, right? But I also love my friends dearly, and I made it a massive point so that I don't not get sick of my boyfriend. That's the wrong word, but you know what I mean? Like when you can be with just your partner all the time, even when they're the person that you think you're going to marry and you're going to be with for the rest of your life, and you're like, well, I'm going to be with them all the time. It's still important to have them other relationships around you, so I would highly encourage that. If there's anything you enjoy doing that could maybe open your door to other friendships, like I said last time, joining a class. Obviously, like I said, I don't know your job, so I don't know exactly what you do or if it would facilitate that. But I'm sure you have some free time. And it is hard because then I'm guessing if you're self-employed as well. I know if I was self-employed, or like the self-employed people I do know, so like my eyebrow girl, for example, mwah, love you. You're working all the time. Why wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? You can start working at 9 and finish at 7 sometimes from the comfort of your own home, and you're making that bank. So sometimes your life might not be sociable enough to, you might not have the free time. So it does depend on what you do, but if you need anything else, if you would like to go deeper, give us a shout. All right, guys, that is it for this week's episode. A nice way to ease into 2024. The year of the dragon, the wood dragon, to be precise. Come back next week. We're going to be doing 15, in fact, I think it's 17. 17 things I learned by the age of 25. I'd love to say there was 25 things, but, not quite. We're going to be recapping the early years, drunken memes, the mistakes we have learned from, the frontal lobe, you name it. I want to hear about your New Year's, if not already. And I also want to know the life lessons you would love to tell your younger self and what you now live by. So get in touch. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. The full Monty, guys, let's spread the love. I want to be in the top 100 podcasts this year. I mean, worldwide ideally, but I'd take UK. So yeah, let's raise the bar, raise the profile. Take care, guys. I will see you next week. Love you.